So you're fed up with the slice. Most frustrating shot, isn't it? It can be caused by more than one thing. So I'm going to show you today all the things that could be wrong in your swing that's causing a slice. We'll go through them one by one. By the end of it, you're going to be hitting the ball straight down the middle, time and time again. Looking forward to that. It's coming up right now. Oh, look at that. Great big slice. Bet you've seen that before now, haven't you? Let's see if we can actually identify what's going wrong and why that's happening. So that's the shot you've seen time and time again, slicing off to the right, out of play, in the wrong place. So frustrating. I used to have a slice myself, so I can totally empathize with the problem. And over the years, I had to go all the way through the things that caused that and actually correct them. It starts with your alignment, because when you know that that ball might go that way, what do? You start aiming to the left-hand side, aim further to the left. All that does is that accentuates the slice, and it will make you come across the ball more than you were doing before. So that's not the cure. The first thing you need to do is you need to identify where is your target and actually make sure that you're aiming to hit that golf ball onto the target. It's useful sometimes to put a little marker out in front of you about here and actually set up over the ball and imagine hitting the golf ball over the top of that marker. Now, if you could do that, and you could do it with a square club face, the ball's going to go straight. But if you wanted to hit a draw, for example, you would have to make the ball go to the right of that marker first. Now, most people who slice are not going to be able to do that because they're aiming to hit to the left of that marker. I know from coaching people over the years that time and time again, I would see people, they'd hit the ball with a fade or a slice, and every single time the ball would go off to the left of the correct line. So the first thing you've got to do is make sure you're aligned correctly to hit the ball straight. What else is important? Well, getting the club on the right path is really important. The club has got to attack the golf ball from the right path as it's coming into the ball. There's no point in actually the club coming across the ball as it's swinging. That's called out to in. Why is it called out to in? Everybody uses that term. A lot of people don't understand. A perfect plane is this plane here. Anything this side of it is the outside. Anything below is the inside. So when we talk about out to in, that means the club's coming from the outside of that path through to the inside. And the correct path is really an inside to inside path. It actually comes around in a curve like that. So it isn't a straight line. A lot of people think, I'll try and swing the club straight. But if you do that, you'll be on the outside as you come into the ball, and that won't get you the right path. You want to be on the inside as you come into the golf ball. What else? Well, one of the major reasons that people slice is to do with delivering that club head squarely to the ball. The club face, being square, has 7 times more influence over where the ball goes than the path that you're swinging on. So if you have a slice, the first thing you need to do is to make sure that that club face is coming squarely to the ball, that it's not actually attacking the golf ball in an open position. So you can see here the club face is open. It's facing to the right of where I'm trying to go. Why is it in that open position? It didn't start there, it started square. Well, look at the position of my hands and arms as I'm actually coming through. My hands are in front of the club face, the club head is behind my hands, and this is a very common fault that I see with club golfers, is the club coming through too late. It's not being released. Very often the releases happen way too early up here, but when we come to the bottom of the swing, there's nothing happening here at all. There's no release of those wrists. So if you're going to release the wrists, what will happen to the club face? Well, it's going to close. It's actually going to close as you go through the ball here. Look at the position of my club face there. A lot of people don't realize that the club face actually closes as you go through the impact. It doesn't try and stay square to the target. That's a very common fault that we see. People trying to make the club face go square to the target like that. And what will happen is the club will come through behind your hands and it will always tend to slice. You've actually got to get your club head to overtake your hands as you go through the ball and close. An interesting fact about that is that with the pros, they've done analysis to discover that from from a foot before impact to a foot after impact, the club face closes by 2.5 degrees per inch as it's coming through that hitting zone. So that's 30 degrees open before impact to 30 degrees closed a foot after impact. So the club head is actually moving as you're hitting. So if you're trying to keep it square, you're trying to straighten it, you're actually preventing it from squaring up properly. So you've actually got to let it close over. I'll show you something about the follow through that actually relates to that. And this is a common fault again, often because of that hands in front position. What we see in the follow through is a kind of movement up that way with the elbow coming slightly high as you're coming through the ball like that. It's a very common fault we see. And a good way to actually make this movement work correctly is to keep that elbow into your side. And as you come through, you actually try and keep that tucked in quite close to your side here. And that will actually allow you to turn the wrists over and create a draw shot. So here we have just a simple thing that you can do at home. Just an old marmalade jar, and we've put a few beans inside there. And this is an easy way to learn how to get your hands working correctly for a golf swing. If I do them incorrectly, the way I was showing you a moment ago, you'll see they don't move. Nothing happens as I go through. But if I do that, do you hear that? All of a sudden the beans go forward and hit the lid. And that's a good way to learn that correct action. And you'll notice my right hand comes over the top of my left hand here to actually make that action happen. Useful little tool, just a jar. So those are some of the major items that we see. Some of the less common ones are to do with ball position. Now, ball position is really interesting because you can slice when the ball position is too far back. And the reason for that is the club face hasn't had time to square up, and so it comes in an open position. But you can also slice if you have the ball too far forward, because what's then happening is you're then going to come across the ball as you come through. So that's where I say more than one fault causing a slice. So do check your ball position. Make sure with the driver, it's by your left heel there. That's the best place to get yourself swinging in the right path into the ball. Weight transference, that's another one. Weight transference, again, it's a bit like the ball position there. If my weight transference is going backwards as I come through the ball, very common one again here, is I'm going to tend to deliver it in an open position like this. So that's what's going to tend to happen if my weight's hanging back on my back foot. But equally, if my weight goes too far forward, I can get into a position again here where I can't get the club head square. So you see, getting all these elements right is critical. Start from the alignment, make sure the ball position is correct, make sure you're aligned correctly, and then swing the club on a nice rounded path, letting the club face close as it comes through the balls. So here's a few lesser known facts about what causes the slice as well. The grip, the way you actually hold your golf club, can also cause this. And if you get either of the two hands onto the left-hand side of the club here, that will tend to open the club face up and cause it to be too open as it's swinging and stay open as you come through the ball. Remember, your hands are naturally going to come into this sort of position at impact. So if you started with the club, with the hands on this side of the golf club, then when the hands come into that natural position, look at the club face, you can see it's going to be wide open. So when you hold the golf club, make sure that you're holding it, if anything, slightly on the right-hand side of the golf club, not on the left-hand side of it, if you're a right-handed player. That will help you to square up. So my posture here is actually fine. This is good posture. But bad posture here can cause making it very difficult to get into the ball here, and you'll tend to swing across the ball. So bad posture can be a cause of slicing. Now, something you can set up which can actually help you to deliver that club into the right path is to set up 3 balls like that. You notice what's happened is I've put them in a line with each other, like that, just put them on there. Now, if I swing the golf club on the right path, I will come through and hit that middle ball and miss the other 2. But if I come through on the wrong path, I'll catch 1 or 2 of those other 2 balls. So just setting up 3 balls like that when you're having a practice can help you to make sure that you're hitting through that gap there correctly. It's a nice simple trick to actually make sure you get the club on the right path. Okay, so how do you use the easiest swing to actually learn these particular elements? Virtually all of them can be wrapped up into the 6 basics and La Dance de Golf. You've seen this before, I'm sure. Elbows just into the side, hold the club very lightly in your hands here and just turn it there and there. It's a very natural and easy move. If I was doing that, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. It's just a nice, easy, natural move that helps me to feel my weight transference, my turn. Everything is coordinating. It's a really simple way. Remember what we said about the move through the ball, about the elbow coming away. Again, you wouldn't do that if you were doing this movement. You would do that. And that's very similar to the action that you need if you're going to get your follow through right and hit through the ball correctly, squaring the club head up. So by learning La Dance de Golf and the elements of easier swing, those things combined will help you to correct the slice. So don't necessarily have to identify everything, but just follow the easiest swing with La Dance de Golf, and you will find your slice will be corrected and it'll go down the middle time and time again. That's the critical elements that you'll find will actually create a straight shot and stop you from slicing. And I would recommend that you go and try and learn how to draw a ball. If you've never drawn a ball, go out and have a go at the practice and try and exaggerate the things I've said and see if you can get the ball to draw. Let's just have a quick look at that. So imagine to get a draw, I need the ball to go to the right of my target. So I'm going to have to aim a little bit to the right. I want my club face to be closed as I'm actually striking the ball. So I might even close the club face a little bit before I grip it. And once I've done those two things, I'm now going to be trying to swing the golf club along a path that's even more inside than I normally would do. And I'm going to concentrate on that, keeping the left elbow closed, close to me through the ball. Let's just see what happens if I do those things. And there you see a lovely draw. You can learn how to hit that shot even if you sliced all your life, but you won't do it if you only fix one of those things. So as I say, several things that need to be put right there to get you to hit the draw. Just check them all out. Watch this video again, write some notes for yourself, go to the range, and you'll get that sorted out. You'll be hitting the ball down the middle of the fairway time and time again. So if you've liked this video, please like and subscribe, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.